So I don't exactly know how to talk about this subject, but there is this thing that bothers me about the way people treat life. Um, and it tends to be like millennials and Gen Z, they seem to have like this overinflated idea that they're like some sort of God or something, and they now know what the world is and what life is, and then not only that, they sit there, and this is the demeanor they have. They're not actually saying that they know, but the demeanor that they have and the way that they look at life is everything is sad, everything is shitty, life sucks, and it won't get better. It just won't. And I'm sitting there listening to this and I'm like, God, you're such an idiot. Like really, really. Like you don't even understand that you're perpetuating the sadness or at the very least projecting your own sadness out into the world and then not allowing yourself to accept that there's possibly something different out there. Really? Like come on. It's like oh God. I guess what I want to like discuss a little bit is my thoughts onto why this idea is even so popular. I think, as far as I understand, millennials and Gen Zs, my generation, they seem like lazy assholes who don't really want to do anything. Which I'm totally like I'm on board with that. Don't get me wrong. My God, I would just sit around all day and do nothing. What the fuck ever, I'm not even worried about that. But what annoys me is that they look outside with this sort of disdain. It's like if a person locked themselves into a cave and became all caveman like, and then someone was like, hey, why don't you come out of the cave and see what's going on? You only have so long to live. You may as well look around at everything else. And this person's like, no, because it's shitty out there. It's like, well, how do you know that? Well, I've been out there before and it's shitty. Is it like, what? Is it just objectively shitty all the time, really? Like, come on. You're feeding yourself a really dumb idea telling yourself something like that. Like, you know what? I would prefer to actually just miss out on what life has to offer because I have concluded that I'm God and I know it's going to be shitty all the time. What, get a grip, really? Get a grip. And I know I'm being a bit of a dick. I'm saying really a lot. Um, but it just cracks me up. I meet so many people who are like this that are just like, oh yeah, I've been through life and I get life and I understand it and life just throws shit at you all the time and it sucks and I'm like, maybe maybe examine where that's coming from because here's the thought in my mind, right? If I go out intentionally to have a bad day, chances are I'm gonna. That's just the way it goes. If I walk outside telling myself today is going to suck, it doesn't matter what happens to me. Something large would have to happen to me, But if I'm so stuck in that mindset, someone could walk up and be like, hey, um, I've got a $5 certificate to this coffee shop and I don't drink coffee. Here, you can take this. I don't need it. Like you wouldn't, if you were in that mindset, you wouldn't even take that and appreciate what just happened. You would just take it and be like, oh, whatever, thanks. You just look at it like it didn't matter. So I think that's the fault of the person projecting this idea, right? Is you have sunk to a point where you won't allow yourself to have a good time because you've again, like I'm saying before, you've put yourself into this like universal I and told yourself now I'm God and I know life sucks. It's terrible all the time. And I'm just sitting here like watching everyone go through this like this existential angst and I'm like, "Shut up." Really? Like you don't know anything. Nobody knows anything, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and actually listen seriously to you pretend that you know that this world and life is sad. Okay, fine. Sad things happen. Duh. That's how you grow from it. If you don't know how to grow from it, then yeah, you're probably going to sit there and sulk about the sad stuff that you've been through. Okay? So what you do is you get healthy about the situation. You say, "Okay, I was shitty to my ex-girlfriend. Um, I cheated on her." Something like that. And instead of really looking at yourself, because the ego is there, and people don't want to look at themselves like they're monsters or anything, they'll sit there and tell them, well, she was in the wrong, or that was this, or even to the point, for a lot of us, I feel, and I'm talking about millennials and Gen Z here, is it'll get like really self-deprecating to an unhealthy degree, where they'll be like, yeah, I'm just a shitty person because I did that, and that's just who I am. I'm a really shitty person and I don't deserve love. And it's like, well, okay, god damn, take a step back just for a moment and realize that sometimes life throws you these situations, and there's a reason. So the next time a woman comes up to you while you're in a relationship and says, hey, let's get down and dirty, you can say, hey, I've been down this road and I don't like this road. I don't like how it makes me feel, and I don't like that it ruins the relationship that I have with someone who trusts me. So no thank you, but I appreciate it. And if I'm ever single again, I'll let you see my pee-pee. uh, but like that's the thing, like I feel like life is very similar to the way that Grand Theft Auto is set up. And this, I think, is the thing that a lot of people are missing. There are side quests, you know? I meet a lot of people who talk about how other people are dicks. Everyone else is an asshole, and they're only out to get theirs and hurt everyone else. And I sit there and listen to this, and I'm like, yeah, but in my experience, I don't see that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I see it, but it's like, okay, I'll see that, and I'll be like, well, you're not worth my time. Thank you. See ya, you know? But I mean, I can tell three stories off the top of my head that started just because I started living life. And I mean that, like, not living life like, oh, I woke up and I was alive or something. But I just mean I didn't spend my time wasting it at nothing. And I wouldn't tell myself that if I go outside today, it's just gonna suck. I used to do that. I totally used to do that. I think that's a very normal stage in aging, and developing. But I mean, so think about this. There's this quote from Terence McKenna that goes, "Life rewards courage by removing obstacles." And I ended up finding that out myself. So I buy this van. I'm gonna cruise across America for a little bit, and I purchased the thing, and it ended up being way cheaper than these vans normally go for, which is kind of cool. And then my father purchased half of it to help me, less of a blow on me. Um, and then I realized the thing is just ruined on the inside. The wiring is so messed up. The engine, like we even found out recently that the timing system was put on backwards. Like whoever worked on this thing before had no idea what they're doing. They didn't know how to clean up the engine, and their soldering that they did do was just garbage. But not like a week after I get this van, and I even say that online, someone reaches out. Adam reaches out and he's like, hey, come over to my house. And for the next 11 months, I'm going to work on your van and we're going to get it done. A stranger, 11 months, works on my van for free. I have sat there and tried to offer him money. I have sat there and tried to offer him things, like purchase him stuff. And he just sits there and he gets quiet. He's like, no, I'm not accepting money. I don't want money for this. I know what I'm doing and I like working on cars. That's why I'm doing this. And no, I'm not gonna like make you buy me things. I'm not gonna do that. If you want to buy me something, then whatever. I can't control that, but I'm not gonna like have you buy me anything, because again, I know what I'm doing with this, and I know that if I build this, you are going to be safe out on the road and have a good time. Now you're gonna sit there and tell me that our neighbors and our the people that are out in our neighborhoods hate each other and are like sad and depressy and scared of each other. Like, sure, there are those people. Fuck them. We don't need them, okay? They don't have to be playing the side quests. But these side quests are fun. Here's another one. So I go skiing with my friends. I could have decided not to go skiing. Here's the side quest, you know? It's like in GTA when you're walking down the street in GTA and someone's like, "Hey, hey, can you help me?" And you get to decide if you want to or not. You could say sure, or you can say no, screw off, right? So there's my side quest. Hey, Barry, you want to go skiing? Or yeah, skiing? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go skiing. So I go skiing, and during a little lunch break that I was taking, I see someone's gorgeous red Westphalia um, Vanagon. And it's completely beautiful. This thing is tricked out. It's got the awning. It's got a front brush guard. It's just, oh my God. And I see a sign on it that she's selling it for $55,000. And I was like, Jesus Christ, these things go for a lot of money. And as I'm looking at it, the lady who owns it walks past me and opens it up and just starts sitting in it and taking off her boots. And I'm like, hey, I've got one of these. I mean, it's definitely not as good as yours is, but you mind showing me around your van? And she's like, yeah, whatever. So she shows me in her van, and we're like checking it out and stuff. And after talking for like 20 minutes, she's like, hey, I have four tires. Actually, I have five. I have five spare tires that I've never used. They have sat for 4 years, but they've sat in a shed. So, I mean, they didn't get exposed to a bunch of weather or anything. They should totally be fine. Do you want them? And I was like, are you selling them? She goes, no, do you want them? I'd give them to you. I'm like, what the hell? Damn, yeah, I'll take those. That's awesome. So then I went over to her house and I picked them up. And then after that, I had a spare LED kit. She was admiring how bright my lights were. And so I went back and drove to her and dropped those off and said, here, it's the least I can do for giving me your tires. And then there was another one. This guy hits me up on Instagram and he goes, hey, I noticed you have a Vanagon. I was watching your YouTube videos, and I noticed you're also in Southern Oregon. Well, I have a Vanagon myself, and I just bought a rock and roll bed for my Vanagon. But I had a Z bed before that, and I don't need that Z bed anymore. These Z beds are like 250 to $700, and he's just like, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want it. I'll buy it from you." And he goes, "No, no, no, not buy. Do you want it? I'll just give it to you." And I'm like, "What the hell?" Like that is so cool, you know? Because normally you're raised in this capitalist society where everyone tells you like, you got to sell everything you have. You got to sell yourself. If you want to put yourself online, you got to sell yourself. And we're just sitting here, hippie vagabonds, whatever. And they're just like, what? I don't need it. And I don't need the money either. Take it. Just whatever. I want you to have it because if you have it, someone's going to use it. And I'd like someone to use it. That's freaking nice. And that's what I'm talking about. People will go out of their way to avoid these situations that prove to them that life is kind of wonderful, that amazing, beautiful things will happen. And instead, for whatever reason, they will force their belief system over to this idea that everyone is out to hurt them, that life is out to hurt them, that life isn't even worth enjoying or experiencing. And what I ought to do is spend all my time locking myself in my cave, doing nothing, pretending life is terrible. Because as far as I've seen it, as I've locked myself in my cave and sat in my little safe cave, nothing good has ever happened to me. Well, duh. You think? Duh. What do you think? Someone's gonna come and knock on your door and be like, hey, here's $1 million. You should turn your life around and be happy because life is cool. No, no one's gonna introduce the story like that. Life rewards courage by removing obstacles. Courage. You have to have it. You have to initiate the fun. And if you don't, and if you won't, then duh, you're missing out. Okay? That's up to you. Totally up to you. Thank you guys for listening to my little bullshit rant. I hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you next time.